The corporate media can't run cover for Donald Trump's mental collapse anymore. His decline is so obvious that even his favourite cheerleaders at Fox can't hide it. Now, this morning, during a rambling call into Fox and Friends, Trump absolutely melted down so badly that not only did he blurt out a disturbing secret about Vladimir Putin, but he even slipped up about one of the Fox hosts themselves. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? Now, it was such a train wreck that Fox had no choice but to cut the segment off live on air. That's how far he's actually gone. Now, here's the reality. Trump is not focused on helping ordinary Americans. He never has been. He's just only obsessed with protecting billionaires like himself. His biggest legislative achievement was a massive tax giveaway to the ultra-rich. Whilst families across the country are crushing by rising costs, Trump is busy spending $200 million on a gaudy ballroom just so he can have his wealthy cronies pat themselves on the back. Now, even gutted Rose Garden, turning into what looks like a cheap parking lot just to keep his rich friends from getting mud on their designer clothes. Now, meanwhile, he's turned Washington, D.C. into a hollowed out shell. Businesses are struggling, restaurants are empty, and his thug-like loyalists patrol the streets to keep up his fake tough guy image. All the while, Trump makes it clear he's not really standing up for America, he's bowing down to Putin. He admitted as much before his shocking slip about the Fox host, proving once again where his loyalties really lie.
Mr.
But
President,
now I'm doing something that I'm having such fun with because I'm helping people. I've made Washington D.C. just an incredible place. In literally 4 days, I have friends that say they're going out to dinner. Did you see what's happening with the restaurants? They're bursting. Yes, they were all closing and going bankrupt. I mean, it would be. It would be great.
Yesterday, the Times reported that Donald Trump stormed out of a meeting with world leaders just to take a phone call from Vladimir Putin. At the same time, Steve Bannon's podcast claimed he actually took the call while sitting with those leaders. Two totally conflicting accounts. But let's be real here, guys. Does anyone seriously believe Trump would ever let anyone else listen in on his private chats with the Russian handler? Of course not. And sure enough, Trump has now openly admitted he took the call alone, exactly as expected. This is just one more proof that Trump is prioritizing Putin over America. His loyalty isn't to the country he once pretended to lead, it's to the Kremlin. And we have even caught him on a hot mic yesterday, boasting that Putin is going to end the war for him. Notice his words, for him. Not because of America's strength, not because of sanctions or pressure. Trump honestly thinks Putin will do him personal favors because of some so-called friendship. It's absolutely pathetic. He's being used and he's too arrogant to even realize it. And it actually gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. Whilst rambling on air, Trump couldn't resist oversharing about his cozy relationships with Sean Hannity and other Fox hosts. The look of panic on her face when he started spilling the truth was priceless. They had no choice but to yank him off the broadcast before he humiliated himself even more. This is Trump. Reckless, compromised, and utterly unfit for any kind of leadership.
During the meeting yesterday, when you decided to call Vladimir Putin, what was the reaction among the other people in the room, and what was President Putin's reaction to being brought into a phone call in the middle of your meeting?
Well, I think they expected it. I didn't do it in front of them. I thought that would be disrespectful to President Putin. I wouldn't do that because they have not had the warmest relations. And actually, President Putin wouldn't talk to the people from Europe. I mean, that was part of the problem. They
you stepped out of the Oval Office to make the call?
They had no communication with the White House for years. as people died. Years with Biden and his people. No communication. Putin told me years. It was years that he didn't speak to anybody from the White House, and it was a long time that he didn't speak to anybody from Europe. No, it's a fractured relationship. And when I came in, I always had, despite the Russia hoax, which truly was a very dangerous thing for our country, but despite that, I maintained a very good relationship. I mean, you saw that when he got off his plane, I got off my plane. There's a warmth there that you can't, there's a decent feeling. And it's a good thing, not a bad thing. People would say, oh, that's such a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. You know what?
Seriously, guys, are you kidding me? This is beyond absurd. Donald Trump has given plenty of disastrous interviews over the years, many of them on Fox, but this one takes the cake. We're talking about a man so deep into the mental decline that he's blurting out personal office relationships live on air. Now, that's not just unprofessional, it's proof how far he's actually really gone. Now, here's the thing. Trump's diehard MAGA fans never seem to get it until the damage smacks them in their face. They won't believe climate change is real until their homes are underwater. They won't even accept that Trump's economic policies are destroying them until they lose their health care or get kicked off the medical aid. Now, apparently, Fox News hosts won't wake up to Trump's unraveling mind until he humiliates them by outing private details, like his comments about Sean Hannity and a fellow host right there on live television. This isn't just another bad interview, guys. It's flashing red siren about his instability, his recklessness, and how dangerous it is that people still treat him like a serious political figure.
Yeah, there's a guy named Sean Hannity. He might take a very lovely young lady that he knows very, very well to dinner in Washington, and they don't have to. And she's sitting right next to you, by the way.
That's right.
But
Mr. President,
I don't want to get him in trouble, so I better explain exactly. We don't want any secrets here. But
exactly
he's got. That's the greatest relationship. I hope I'm not breaking any news. This could be the biggest. Hey, this could be the most important thing I said. But let me tell you, those are two great, Ainsley and Sean, people in government.
Well, President Trump, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know that you have lots of other wars around the world that you need to end, and that's more important than anything. So we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you very much,
you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ainsley, thank you. I hope I didn't get you in trouble with Sean. No,
we
it's
appreciate
just a great
your
couple.
support.
I'll
Thank
say
you.
it. I like this. It's a great couple. We love them. Have a good time,
Mr.
everybody.
President.
Congratulations for yesterday.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you all very much.
The 45th and 47th President of the United States giving us some breaking news on what took place in the room there.
Absolutely unhinged. A total meltdown. The Fox hosts were practically begging him to stop. Mr. Trump, please hang up. Please stop talking, because he was embarrassing himself so badly on live television. That's how far he's actually gone. Now, as wild as that train wreck was, it still wasn't as deranged as his pointless off-the-wall attacks on Gavin Newsom that followed. Trump is spiraling, and everyone around him knows this.
What happens after your presidency? How can we ensure that this conflict, that Putin doesn't inch in closer or more into the Ukraine territory? Is there anything that we can do? Can our congressmen and women pass any laws that would involve Article 5? How would that be handled?
All you can do is make sure you get a good president, not one of these wackos like in California that runs the worst state anybody's seen, or that guy in Illinois who his family threw him out of the business because he was no good. Now he's running Illinois and he wants to run for president. He's got zero chance. Maybe Newsom has a little bit of a chance. I don't know, but it's hard to believe because his record's bad. But all you can do is hope you don't get that as president. We have a great bench, as you know that. We have great talent. And J.D. and Marco and Scott Besson's been great, and Howard. They're all, we have such superstars.
You can tell Gavin Newsom is living rent-free in Donald Trump's head right now. It's painfully obvious. If you've been paying attention to Newsom's press office on Twitter or really any of his posts across social media, you can see this striking a nerve, and Trump cannot handle it. He's spiraling because someone is actually calling him out in ways he cannot ignore. And of course, Fox's Dana Perino rushed to defend him, whining that Newsom's tweets were somehow inappropriate. Please, come on. What's really inappropriate is Trump's fragile ego being exposed for the world to see.
Mr. President, did y'all discuss any land swaps yesterday? Because we've talked a lot about the Donbass region. And what was the feeling in the room? What did the other leaders say about this?
Well, they understand. Look, everybody can play cute and this and that, but, you know, Ukraine's going to get their life back. They're going to stop having people killed all over the place, and they're going to get a lot of land. But this was a war, and Russia is a powerful military nation, you know, whether people like it or not. It's a powerful nation. It's a much bigger nation. It's not a war that should have been started. You don't do that. You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size. And, you know, military experts look, if it wasn't for the greatest military equipment, we make the greatest military equipment in the world, and we gave them, you know, whatever. They took probably a lot of money, too. But they had tremendous, you know, they had the Patriot missile, which is the best in the world. All the equipment, we make the best equipment in the world by far. Everyone else is like nothing. So we gave them a lot of equipment. Now, with that said, the Ukrainian soldiers were brave as hell because they're fighting a force that's much, much bigger and, in theory, much more powerful. And, you know, it's not like they've stopped. I assume you've all seen the map. You know, a big chunk of territory is taken, and that territory has been taken. Now, they're talking about Donbass, but Donbass right now, as you know, is 79% owned and controlled by Russia. So they understand what that means.
Mr. President,
It's classic Trump. Never his fault, always someone else's. Every failure, every disaster, every broken promise gets blamed on anyone but him. Now, the sheer audacity is staggering. This is the same man who promised he would end the war in less than 24 hours. And yet, here we are, no accountability from his own party, no scrutiny from the so-called mainstream media, and still he's screaming, raging, and somehow finding a way to pin the blame on Obama. It's absolutely absurd. It's embarrassing. And it's actually what makes him unfit for any position of real responsibility.
They developers, I look at it, I said, why the heck did he do that to them? And so there's great hostility, and maybe rightfully so. But one thing was NATO. They went in. They said, we want you. You know, we want to get Crimea back. This was at the beginning. Now, Putin, in all fairness to him, he made a good deal. He got it from Obama. But they said, we want it back, and that was not exactly well received because it was like 12 years before. That's where Russia has its submarine base, and, you know, that's been there long before Putin. You know, they've been there for a long time, but long before Putin. And the other thing they said is, we want to be a member of NATO. Well, both of those things are impossible because, again, long before Putin, it was a no-no by Russia or the Soviet Union or anything you want to call it. Sort of a similar thing as it gets larger, but very similar. But it was always a no-no. You could not. Russia said, we don't want the so-called opponent or the enemy, let's use that term, we don't want them on our border. And they were right. They were okay. And yet they went in and they asked, with the United States, they said, put us into NATO. And everybody knew you just can't do that. They would never have agreed to it. This is before Putin. This is long before Putin. It was just a no-no. It was something that was never going to happen. So they asked for it, and they shouldn't have asked for it because it was, you know, very insulting thing. Now, they could have asked for many other things. But the other thing they wanted to do is getting Crimea back, and, you know, that was given. They had built, they were expanding everything and spending a lot of money, all because Barack Hussein Obama gave it away in one of the dumbest real estate deals I've ever seen.
What are we even getting from him? Nothing. A complete, total disaster of nothing. It's beyond foolish, guys, and we're going to keep calling it out every single day because someone has to hold this chaos accountable. If you want to support that, Please hit the subscribe button and leave a like on this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments to show you're standing against the madness. Until next time, stay sharp. I'll see you soon.